Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to our Monday afternoon stream. For today, I'm going to be doing a live coding stuff I've never seen before. The new Xamarin Shell and Xamarin Visual features that are coming out for Xamarin Forms. David Ortano from Microsoft has issued a challenge to a bunch of people in the community to go out and try it out and submit pull requests back to his GitHub repository. I'm going to post in the chat for everyone in just a second. But basically, he's got an example project out there that he wants us to just go and try use some of the new features of Visual, and I thought this would be a cool idea to do it on my coding stream. I've only seen it really in a couple demos so far, and I'm excited to try it out. Look through the docs with anyone following along, and see how it goes. I have no idea how any of this is going to go, and let's drop the note into the chat for anyone that needs a link to it. Head over to my Twitch channel. That's what I want. There we go. So if you're interested, that's the GitHub repository that Dave is looking for people to fork and create a new project. And before we get started, I did want to give a shout out to a bunch of the people that started following me on Twitch. Last weekend, I did my first ever stream, and now I'm up to 12 followers. I'm really excited that people are starting to follow me and see what I'm doing. And all of my streams are going to be just different open source projects that I work on. All right. Let's get started and take a closer look at what's going on with the Visual Challenge. So I already went ahead and downloaded the code, and when I run the application, we're just going to focus on Android right now. When I run the application, it's just a blank app that David mocked up for us to play with. And the goal for this challenge is build any screen you want and see how it comes out. And he's looking to see how hard this stuff is to use this new platform that they're hoping a lot of people are going to be using all over the place in different Xamarin projects. So when the app launches, it's just a blank app like this right here. Really nothing going on with it yet. And if we take a look at some of the documentation for it, there is all this stuff for how to use the material visual, which is the idea with this is to have an identical look and feel across Android and iOS. So they've got a series of different buttons and controls here that you might use between an iOS and Android project, and they're trying to create your look and feel to be consistent across the platforms using the visual renderers that you can do. And they're shipping material design out of the box with this, so you can go and use material design, and it should look the same on both Android and iOS. They haven't created a UWP implementation for it yet, but they're planning to do that in the future. Music is a little loud. I can go and lower that. There we go. Thank you for the feedback. Is that better for the music? Well, let me know if I need to lower it a little bit more, and I can certainly do that. Alright. So, like I said earlier, I haven't had a chance to really look at the documentation. We're going to be going back and forth between the documentation and the application to get this set up, but fortunately we got the example code already in place. So like we're going to need to run some initializer in our platform code, and we're going to need to specify our visual renderer there. So that's saying visual equals material. That seems pretty straightforward. All right, let's. There's a couple notes on the GitHub repository here. Okay, so we do visual there, and okay. All right, and let's take a look at our project. So in our Android code, I want to take a look at our main activity here and see where they're initializing some of these features. So they're including the shell experimental, the fast renders, and the collection view. For initializing forms material. Okay, that all makes sense. That stays consistent with the documentation. Does the sound better there? I did lower it a little bit more. Lower it a little bit more. Alright, and then quick peek over at the iOS project here, the app delegate code. We have, again, it's including the shell experimental, visual, experimental collection views, fast renderer, got forms material in that. Okay, so that all makes sense. And in the app XAML, this is new here because usually we would do something like new, main page, but for the new features we do app shell. And let's take a look at the code for app shell. All right, good. I'm glad that the music, background music's not overpowering me. Okay, so and we're doing visual material, resource dictionary, shell item, content shell, the data template of visual challenge page. Okay, which must be this page here is just a content page. And the flex lab, leave the scroll views here. Currently there's a bug in shell that will so we need to make sure we leave those in there. That's fine. I thought they said though that we needed to include one of the docs that we were just looking at, but the content page needed to include the visual element. Take a look. Maybe I was seeing things. Yeah, content page. So applications can opt into using material renders by setting visual element.visual property on a page layout of the material. I wonder if that's not needed if we're using shell. Let's go find out. Maybe if I did, we go back and look at our application. Here it is, the visual challenge. See if any of these are actually just implementing visual by default once the app loads up. That does look like material. Easy way to tell would be we can just add an entry, place it in the middle, and I'll put like a little input box in between the label and the button. And when that loads back up, we'll have that right here, and it should just have a bar underneath it. I'm gonna head back to the docs real quick on this. Is it? Installing new package, material renders must be initialized for each project. Alright, so the app is launched. second. And it should boot up sequence. Oh yeah, that definitely looks right to me, and I think we should be able to do. Oh, there's no title there. But having that gray background is definitely something I've seen in a couple of the videos. So yeah, material doesn't need to be specified here in this content page because it's part of the shell. So that's pretty cool. And one of the other things in the docs, just to confirm before we get started, is so it said you need to include the Xamarin Forms.visual.material as a NuGet dependency. So that's all there, and it's got to be inside our Android project as well. All right, cool. I think we can go ahead and get started. I got a decent understanding of how this is all configured, and I wanted to show you guys what I am thinking of building. So let me go to here. All right, so my really low text drawing. Let's hold it up to the screen here. I'm just going to be building a simple form that allows us to plug in, a name, a date, a description, begin, save it or reset it, and up here at the top, we're going to be able to upload different photos and scroll. And I want to try and use the new carousel spec to scroll left and right with that. So that's kind of the idea of what I'm thinking that we're going to build today. And part of the challenge, none of this actually needs to work. It just needs to look pretty. So we'll see how everything goes, and some things we might cut some corners on, but I think this should be a fun example to play with. So I'm going to try and removing the flex layout for this because I don't think I want it right now. Maybe we yeah, let's get rid of it for now, and we could try adding it back in later if we need to. The flex layout allows you to be a little bit more responsive depending on your screen size, whether you're on like a tablet or a mobile device. It's pretty cool what they're doing with it. I have not used it yet, but there's a couple projects I'm thinking of using it for. So I'm just going to move our controls over. Alright. And let me just do center and expand for horizontal, and we'll do the same thing for vertical, and I'll rebuild and just make sure things are rendering the way I want it to. And then we'll start adding in our different controls and see how everything goes. I'm hoping that everything goes real smooth with this. This is a control that I've actually had to build for many different Xamarin projects, so it would be a good test case, at least for me. Alright, so it's building and deploying. And let's see, once that finishes, what our screen looks like. Oh, I don't like that. That does not look right to me. Let's fix that. We didn't really specify any type of width here, so I'm going to say that all horizontal options, at least for this guy, instead of center and expand, we're going to say fill and expand, and that should make it take up the entire screen width there. Let's redeploy that. It's pulling. I'll take a little coffee break. All right. And all right. And now the app is running, and we'll see if that fixed our little entry there, because we're going to need to add a bunch of entries onto the screen anyways. Alright, yeah, so that made that a little bit wider. I can come in here, start typing. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted it to do. Button down there. Alright. so let's start with just adding another stack layout. I'm going to add the two buttons at the bottom. So back here, start with just we got these two buttons here, and then we're going to add in the different controls just above it. All right. So I want these to be laid out side by side. So I'm going to add another stack layout. We're going to say its orientation is horizontal. I'm going to move this button into it. All right. And I'm going to put another button right next to it. And we're going to call this one reset, and the first one we're going to call save. And I'm going to wire up a new event handler for the reset. Rename this to reset clicked. And rename this one to save clicked. Put behind. And update the logic there. So his old button opened up a website. I don't really want it to do that anymore. Stop our debugger. It said this was going to be save clicked and reset clicked. Maybe I'll just throw an alert. Be able to do display alert. We'll just say reset. Set the form. Cancel button. Cancel. The OK button goes first. Alright. And we're going to do the same thing up here. Except we're going to say save. And say save the form. Pretty much the exact same question. And you do any type of logic to save the data. For us, oops, didn't want to get rid of that semicolon. That's really great. We might add some logic over here to clear all form items, just to make it a little bit more interactive. Let's build. Okay, so let's go take a look at our markup because I clearly broke something. Yep, I forgot to have our little closing slash and arrow there. So let's try building it again. Reset. Oh, reset clicked is not found. What did I do wrong? Oh, still has this _1, so let's get rid of that. Alright. Now that looks like it is building and be deploying out. Alright, cool. I love what they did with the Xamarin icon there, with the how they restyled it. It looks pretty cool for this. I mean, the visual is pretty cool, so you can see why they wanted to do that. Alright, so we got save and reset. That looks good. I do want this to be at the bottom of the screen, but we need to add more controls before I could really constrain anything just yet. So let me stop the debugger and we can add in a couple more entry controls. We'll say, or yeah, so we'll just add in, I said I wanted 3 entries. So I'm going to do, name this one is called date. This one here we'll say is title. So let's fill and expand. And we'll do name. Last one is description. What we'll do is there's supposed to be want to go look back at the docs. I did hear about a large entry control for Visual that is implemented across the board, and I might need to look it up. I thought we could have something that specifies our number of rows, or I might be thinking of a different control. Let me just look it up. Xamarin Form Xbox. Let's see what Stack Overflow says. Looks like it's editor. Let me try that. Yes, edit is what I wanted. So I'll do description. So I have no idea if this is actually going to work with the material design and visual here. I thought I remembered watching a video of someone demoing it and saying that it even works for editor, not just entry, which was a big win for me if I wanted to do cross-platform for this, because I always had to create a custom renderer to handle that on iOS. And if they already have it built, that just saves me a lot of time. Let's see if this actually works. Alright, and so it looks like it worked. Let's see if I start typing in here. So this is might need to customize that. There's something in the docs that I might have missed. There's a height request that I could add in that might help. We do there's a rows. No, try height request. Well, let's see what that does. Maybe that'll give us what we're looking for here. And once we get this part figured out, what we'll need to do next is make our controls be a little bit wider, and then we can start getting into the fun stuff with that carousel that I was talking about earlier. All right, let that finish deploying out to my my emulator here. Oh, waiting for it to be ready, but it is ready. Why is it waiting? Let me stop it. Sometimes the emulator in Visual Studio they get out of sync, and I just cancel and restart, and usually solves that problem. I think it's starting the deployment, so we'll trust it. And hopefully it speeds up in a second. While we're waiting for that, I want to take a look at some of the docs we were taking a look at earlier. See which ones we might use. Ooh, they got a date picker too. Might use that instead of just a standard entry, because then I could have our native experience across our platforms. Yeah, Nick, hot reload. I was actually thinking about using that for this, but I wanted to be a little bit leaner. Maybe oh no, deployment failed. Yeah, maybe we should think about adding that in. But is that one of the free ones, or is that one of the The ones that you gotta have a subscription for. That's a free one. I could try adding that in and see how it goes, but I don't have a subscription to any of the live reloads. Oh, it's free. Yeah, let's try it. Absolutely. I don't want to go to Team Explorer. I want to go to Solution Explorer. Well, you should just be able to look up hot reload and add it in. Maybe without the space. No packages found. No, because I'm on my local NuGet. Let's go to NuGet.org. It's Andre. Yeah, those names match up. So it's this one here. So what we'll do is we'll just add it into all of our things here. Nick, is there? I need the extension as well, right? Yeah. Okay. So I need the extension. So let's install the NuGet packages. Then I'll get the extension, and we'll do instead of editing and building and deploying, we'll just use the hot reload and edit very quickly and streamline. Alright, so we're downloading our packages. Looks like all of those installed. So let me go and download our extension. Go to online, hot reload. And is this the Nick, is this the one that you've used, or is there another one? Because the names don't match up here. Maybe go to GitHub for it. Oh, that's the one. All right. Well, then we'll do it. Trusting you here. Modifications of media. It's close. So we need to close Visual Studio. We're going to save all of our changes. Oh, that's cool that they work together. I always like seeing when people collaborate on this kind of stuff. I didn't see my extension installer pop up, but it said I just needed to restart Visual Studio, so hopefully it's there. We'll check our extensions. Tools. Oh, there it is. I need to shut down Visual Studio. I didn't wait long enough. Oops. That's me being impatient. And now Visual Studio is crashing. We'll see how it goes with the Android emulator. If it doesn't work, we can just do things the way we were. But one of my good friends showed me some hot reload tools the other day, and I was really impressed. So I'll definitely give it a shot. Don't mind doing it here. I mean, these things are pretty easy to install and uninstall the extensions on Visual Studio. Alright, let's update in the configuration. And if you don't know what hot reload is, for anyone else watching the video or the stream, it allows us to edit the XAML and the markup and not have to build the solution, deploy it out to our emulator, and makes a very slow development cycle. So hot reload just lets me update the XAML, and then it automatically updates on the running application. Alright, so it looks like that installed, so let's reload Visual Studio in the application and see if hot reload's working. And that'll save us some time here. Right, there it is, okay. And wait for it to finish loading. There we go, we got the visual challenge. Let's load up our solution. The amount of loading screens we get to wait on for as software engineers. I feel like I'm always just waiting for different things to load. Alright, so looks like we're loaded. Included the hot reload packages. Let's double check that. So we'll go to references, properties, references. We got hot reload, the XAML, we got NuGets, we got a hot reload. So that all looks good. So let me run the application. Oh, so there's more configuration I got to do. Well, it says it's not enabled. So let's stop this. Cancel. Let's enable it. Yeah, that should be. Is that? Yeah, we'll say connect to that one. This is just an emulator running. We'll see if that works. And Nick was saying if we go to tools, customize, would be a Xamarin Forms hot reload here. Perfect. Are there any commands we gotta do with that? I don't know. Close. Oh, here's the lightning bolt he was just talking about. Alright, so disable, enable. So right now it looks like it's enabled. So if I run this, we should be able to figure out the IP address of the actual emulator. So if this doesn't work, should just be able to pull it up here. Let's see. Nope, 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 nope. I would have thought it would be there. You'd probably get to it through the settings here. Maybe under network. I'll look in the output. Yeah, I set it back. I sent it to localhost, so I would assume. Where is the settings? So I should be able to do. No, I don't want that to be off. I want that to be on. Not showing me the option that I actually have on my phone. I can just pull down that drop down and it'll show me the IP address. We'll let it deploy and we'll see if it works or not. Well, if this doesn't work, that sounds like we might need to set that up for next time. Wait for that building. Alright. Let's see. You know, I can just look this up. Say Android emulator address. I could download the terminal emulator and just type in the command, but there might be another way to do it. And we gotta wait for that to build anyways. Let's see what it says. Within your app, you can simply refer to the emulator as local host. That's not very helpful. Well, we'll see if that works. If it doesn't, we'll try and get it set up for next time, Nick. Thanks for the suggestion, and we'll continue to work on that. And again, if it doesn't work, we'll just continue the way we were doing it. More than happy to try this out. And the build time is just taking a while. So we added some new packages that need to get deployed to it. All right. And follow-up builds shouldn't take this long, but it's always, whenever you change a package, the build time takes a while. Oh, we had a couple more lines showing up in the log there. That's usually a good sign. As it was deployed, starting the debugger. So slow. I have my performance turned up all the way. That's another question. No, I'm in battery saver. Why am I in battery saver? Let's fix that. Now things should be going much faster. So if the hot reload is working, I should be able to come over here and what does it say? Hot reload. Save. No, it doesn't look like that's working. Oh, that's unfortunate. Disable hot reload. Oh well. I'll have to play with that, and we could use it on another stream. No big deal. We'll just disable that. Alright, so the last thing we were doing was updating that height request, so I should just be able to... There we go. So that's cool. And then, you know, these other entries, they'll just keep scrolling over. So let's just highlight this real quick. This has been a very difficult control for me to build in the past to work on iOS and Android. So the fact that they're shipping this out of the box and that, you know, as I type, the line just keeps increasing. That's pretty cool. That's already there. I'm really excited about this feature, and I can't tell you how excited I am about it. I start screaming, but I'm really excited about that feature. So I don't like how this is just, it's really narrow right now, and I want to make that a little bit wider. So let's make these wider. So right now our horizontal options are center and expand. I am going to remove that. These are all marked as fill and expand, so let's rerun this, see what happens there. The deployment should be faster this time, I hope. And carousel view. Oh, I'm gonna start looking up. Let's head over here. Look that up. We'll look that up while it's building. Here it is. This is the one I wanted. This is on GitHub. Looks like there's a blog here that has information that I'm looking for. Here it is. That's finishing up our deployment. I did turn my power settings up, right? Nope, it did not take all the way to best performance. Better? Oh, yes, that is already looking better. So now we got our different entry controls pushed out all the way. I'm gonna simplify this slightly and see if I can put these inside of like a stack layout. So our horizontal options is fill and expand. This will, or at least should, give me a little bit more control on these controls. We'll put them there, and then we'll delete these. And that means I should be able to remove that. Perfect. And I also want to add a margin. Goes left, top, right, down, or if we can do left. So we'll do 10, 0, so that's going to be the left and right is going to have a margin of 10, and top and bottom are going to have a margin of 0. And that'll just give us a little bit of spacing on the sides of them. If we run this, we're going to be getting a little bit closer to our original mock-up. And what it's going to be looking like is like that. Alright, cool. That is looking a lot better. But each one of these guys are going to need to have a little label above it, so let's add that in. Or I just want to see if there is any type of, so there's text, which is getting the value, and then there's a placeholder. I wonder if I can use the placeholder, because what I've done in the past, and I don't expect this to do this, but I'll explain a little bit, is looking at my little mock-up here, is I would have, let's say, the name here, and the name would actually be the placeholder. When you clicked in it to type in it, it would animate up to the top, which is something that is, depending on the material design library you're using, some libraries do it, some don't. And I wonder if the placeholder here does that for us. So if I add, let's say, to make our placeholder name for this first one, it might just have a placeholder text in there that just says name. Might not be what we want. If that doesn't work, we'll add labels above each one of these so we can, the user will know what type of information we want them to fill out. That's building. I wanted to look through. No, not that one. Maybe I did want to go to the spec. There was a blog that they came out with when they first released the carousel spec into version of Xamarin as experimental. I'll just go to the spec and start looking at that from there. That's good. Still running a little slow, but I'll just have to tweak my stream as we do this more. At least everything's running faster than last time, where it took us 15 to 20 minutes to run a build, which was a little bit of a nightmare. Alright, so looking at the spec here, yeah, all of the controls to go with it, property, there's some information down at the bottom. Oh, well, looks like our closed system UI. I don't think we need that. Oh, I'm still just sharing the self and not the screen here. Should be paying more attention to what screen I'm showing. And thanks for mentioning that in the chat. I totally missed that. I thought I was back to my desktop here. Alright, alright, the emulator is loading up. Alright, so it shows name here as a placeholder. Oh, yeah, that's cool. That is so cool. So you see when I click in here, it immediately makes my name be a little bit small, the name title be smaller, and I can type in, hello world, and it just retains that. And if I remove this all the way and come down here, that's really cool. I can't tell you how many hours I spent trying to get that to work correctly. That is amazing. Yes, we're going to do this for all of them. But entry's the date's going to be a little different. So if we go back and take a look at the docs here under Visual, there's a date picker here. So let's just use that because that'll give us the native look and feel. So if I do date picker, date, do I don't know if it's going to allow me to do a placeholder. Let's see. No, it's not going to let me do a placeholder. I wonder if the editor down here will let us do a placeholder. Yes, I'll call this one description. So let's see if this runs and does what we want it to first before we start messing with the placeholder. While that runs, I'm going to look back at our docs here for the, maybe it's under collection view, what I'm looking for. So it is a type of collection view. These vertical grids are really cool, stuff that they're doing. Maybe with a carousel view documentation. let's. Did that finish loading? Oh yeah, I did finish loading. Alright, so if I click that date picker now, this window pops up and I can just select a different date. Hit OK, so that's pretty nice. But I wanted to have it say date right above it. I don't see that here. Maybe there's capacity. Let's look through our list of properties here. Alright, we're not going to get hung up on this. I'm going to put a note here. Because unable to set placeholder. Entry hacked if we have time. So we're going to come back to this one towards the end if we have time. Basically what I've done in the past is I've created an entry here instead of a date picker. And then when someone clicked in, I had an event wired up that would automatically open up the date picker and set that data in there so it would still look like the entry, but it would behave like the date picker. A little bit of a hack, but if you're in it works like. But we're going to come back to that one because I don't really want to spend too much time messing with date pickers and entries. So the other thing that I wanted to do, so we can leave that there, that's fine. So what we're going to do then is if someone clicks reset, let's just clear out our field. So we have so since we've added these names, title, date, and description, we should be able to access those in the code behind and just clear them out. So we'll do title, and it's got a property called text. That's equal to string.empty. And the date. It's not gonna have text. It's gonna have a property called date, and we're gonna change that to date time now. So it's just the current date, and then the description text. That's gonna be equal to string.empty. And we'll do that. Oh, that built fast. I like that. Much faster than earlier. Alright, so now I should be able to add some data into these controls and say hello on that one. We'll pick a different date besides the default. Say the 23rd. And for description, we'll say forward from the other control. Text. Fine. Alright. And if I click reset, perfect. Oh no! I got my order of operations wrong. So I actually did the logic before I wanted it to do the logic. So let's fix that. And then we're going to add a bar here and we'll say is resetting. This should return a bool, but it needs to be awaited. This needs to be converted to an async method. When this pops up, it's going to be in a different thread, and then wait for the user input, and then when the user input comes back, it will continue along here with the is resetting. So we're going to say if are resetting. We'll paste these guys in. Perfect. And then once that's done, we'll do a little bit of styling with these buttons here because I don't like how they're looking anymore. Going so much faster, it's good. All right. So now if I type in some text there, pick a random date. We'll pick a date in the past this time. Say, beginning of March. Hello world. Reset. It's going to ask me the question. If I hit cancel, it does nothing. But if I hit OK, perfect. Exactly what we want to do, so that's good. So these buttons are now left aligned, and I don't like that. So what we're going to do is the horizontal option, it's at center, expand. And that should just move them over slightly. And we're also going to add some spacing to our entry controls. Let's add like 15 points between each one. And we're going to add some overall spacing between our different sections. And we're just going to make that 5. So that would add, 5 here, 5 here, and we'll add 15 here and 15 here. Let's run the application. Building, I actually need to please shut the lines in our window. Alright, that's better. Alright, cool. So now we've got a little bit of spacing between our different controls. Let's update how these are displaying on the screen. I want those controls to be, well, I was just thinking, I want those controls to be at the bottom along with the buttons, but let's add our carousel view in before we mess around with that, because that's going to take up a good amount of space. So if we reopen this, which will actually let me get into drawing mode here. So what we're trying to accomplish again is, alright, really low definition here. We got a little screen here with some entries, a save and reset button, and a carousel view at the top where you can have some images and take some photos. But it will let me go into my screen sketch mode here. Like right now we have this control and this stuff. Let me go back. So we have the controls and the buttons down at the bottom aren't really positioned right. I would like to take the buttons, erase that, and have them be brought all the way down to the bottom, and bring this down here to have stuff up, to have our carousel take up the space here. But once we add those in, it should push these down. So let's see how that looks first once we implement it, and maybe make some adjustments from there. Alright, so this is a collection view docs. Let's take a look back at the spec here. There was... Xamarin forms. There was a lot of confusion on this because it is a new control that typically hasn't been inside of the platform. I thought I saw that this code base already had it included as an experimental feature. Right, because it's including the collection view. Let's try adding collection view. Yeah, this is what I want. I think that's the grid. Yes. So I can add a carousel view is here. The previous example shows a scrollable grid. Carousel view, I thought there was... I should just be able to say all of this stuff, and it should just work. So we go and take a look at our markup here. Instead of that, I can just say, yes, carousel view. I'm going to give it a name. We'll call this carousel view. That way we can access it in the code behind. We'll say we have a height request of 200. Center. So vertical options is center and expand. Margin 10 all around sounds like a good idea to me. And they got the items layout and an item template. So the items layout, we want it to display horizontally. Items layout. Grid item layout. And orientation is horizontal. And we need to display our items template, which docks here to show it's a data template. So let's do that. Data template. And I like putting frames around stuff, so we're just going to follow suit with that. We're going to say the border color, corner radius, all that good stuff. Let's just plug that in. And the frame allows us to put items inside of it, so I'm just going to say hardcode hello world to it. And we need to set some properties to this, or some items to it to display anything on the screen. So since we have a carousel view now, I should be able to do item source, which will say is equal to new array, hello, and world. See if it accepts that. So that is accepted. I don't need to set it explicitly here. That should render something. I don't know what. I've used a bunch of different third-party plugins for carousel views, and they're all complicated to get implemented. But I'm really excited about the new collection view features that are coming to Xamarin Forms 4.0. Let's see what happens. So, oh, that's cool. That's actually, I did not expect that to work at all. That is, I'm impressed. I am impressed. Wow. So that was really easy. I can't even tell you how, wow, that was easy. So what if we just turn this into an image? Bear with me here. We turn this into an image, and we'll set the binding to itself with that syntax there. And then in the code behind, instead of passing in hello and world, I started looking up images of Xamarin monkeys. So I was just thinking, we can just copy these image addresses right in here and see how it renders. So we'll do that one. Maybe we'll do all the Xamarin monkeys gathered around the laptop. That one looks like fun. I'll just plug these in. And when we look back at the markup here, it's just going to set the image source. So now we should have some monkeys as our carousel images. I still can't get over how simple that was. I literally just copied the code out of the blog and it just worked. That was really cool. Well, let's see if the images work right. Again, I'm not expecting this to work well. I'm expecting us to have some type of ratio off of the images, not the images actually loaded. Oh, the second one didn't load. Why didn't the second one didn't load? It's probably a caching problem. Like, I bet you that image is getting disposed of when it goes off screen, and then when we try to reload it, it's just not working. One way to confirm that is if we flip these around. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening, so we're going to have to play with this and get this to work to make sure that it can reload those images correctly. Oops. Let's get rid of that extra double quote at the front. And there's, yeah, that's common. This is a common problem that happens when you're doing anything with image Xamarin and the stuff goes off the screen because the data gets disposed. And there's a couple different libraries out there that simplify the process, but it could also be the image. Looks like it's it is the image because the monkey displays. What is the difference between that's a JPEG and that's a ping? Well, maybe we need to grab another ping, or maybe that one's just way too big. Let's see what is. Copy this image address. Let's see what. No, also a ping. Let's see what this one is. That's ping. Alright, let's load this one in. Maybe there's just something wrong with the JPEG, so we'll load that one in. And let's see what this one is. This is a ping, we'll load that one in. Not anything I can use. No. I want to go into. Let's try this one. No. I want one more image. This one looks like it'll work. Copy image address. Yeah, we'll do this one as well. Alright. So now that should give us 3 different Xamarin monkeys that we're going to display on the screen. And then, all right, we got monkey 1. That's the same monkey. Same monkey. That's a different monkey. Did I copy the same code for those 2 ones? I probably did. Probably just copied the same monkey code. Clicking these by mistake. Oh, this one looks like fun. We'll add this one in. Perfect. Maybe what we'll do is we'll add so we can take photos of it as the first one and update that. Cool. And okay, that works. That works for me. Doesn't need to be perfect because we are downloading those over the wire. So that's fine. I wanted to look at the documentation just for a second. There are some features in here that I really liked. Yeah, this snap point alignment and snap point type. I want to add that in because that's really cool. What was there? Oh, that's on the grid item up there. Scroll down, and it's a snap point. Yes. Context center. Snap point types is mandatory. Make that mandatory. That'll force your card, if you would, to just snap into the screen, which is a feature that I'm a very big fan of. It looks really sharp when you start sliding, and it just automatically slides it over for you. Welcome to the stream, Luce. Glad that you could make it. We're just messing around with the carousel control right now that I'm super excited about. So now, if I slide this over, yeah, that's better. You see how that snaps into place? So if I don't go far enough, it's going to keep me on the same way to snap it into place, but if I do slide it over further, and now it's going to just lock in on the second one. Yeah, I like that. There's a lot of cool different features that they've added into this. Lisa, the challenge has been going pretty smoothly. I'm really happy with some of the items in Visual. It was really easy to add these controls, and I'll remind everyone what we're trying to build here. So if I go back to the screen, I drew up a little mock-up of what I'm trying to build here. And basically, it is a carousel view at the top with a couple different material controls that allows you to input data and a save and reset button. Thanks for the follow, RJ Hef. Glad that you've been on the stream today. And before I close this, so basically we have this carousel at the top where you would like take a photo and it would upload several different photos into your collection. You plug in information about it, and then you can save or reset the form. I've had to build this on several different Xamarin Form applications, and the problem I ran into two major problems. The carousel view control would always time stuff out, and you would lose context of your images, and you'd have to use a library like FF Image Loader, which I really like. And the actual material design controls were always difficult to build. And the wow factor to me was if I click in here for name, you see how the name kind of slides up like that, and I can start typing in hello world, and it just keeps that little label right above it, and that has been a nightmare for me to build as custom renderers in the past. And then if I now that I've deselected it, it just goes back, and that is so fancy. I didn't think that was a feature included, and I thought I was gonna have to create little labels above it. It was so easy to implement. I don't like that the date picker doesn't have that feature. I couldn't find anything on the date picker. And the date picker works, it's nice, it's cool, but when I actually take a look at the markup for that, I'm not doing anything special. It's just I gave it a name so we could access it in the code behind, and a placeholder, and that's it. It is. Oh, I'm not doing my screen share. I gotta get better at that. So if I go back, thank you, RJ Hef, for the reminder. This is only my second time, guys. So I tried to set up a couple different layouts on my Mac that I have next to me so I can show you guys different things. So what I was just showing was when I type in here, the name here moves up on the screen, and if I click out of it, it goes back to normal. So I can type in, hello world here, and that the title or placeholder goes up to the top. And if I delete that text now, it goes away. I didn't find it included in the date picker, but this has been a nightmare for me to build in the past. I've gone to using the XFX control library, which has been really nice. Have you tried the Glide X? I have not heard of Glide X. The ones that I have used in the past have been the XFX control library, which I really loved, and it handled a lot of this stuff for me. But the custom renderers got pretty complex, and now that it's just included in the Material Visual is really nice. But again, the markup for this is really simple. For the first one, it's just placeholder name, and everything just works. The date picker, I couldn't find. There's no placeholder element on it. I didn't see like a title or a label. Earlier, we tried scrolling through here, and I didn't see anything. So I got a note here. Obviously, I'm going to mention this to David in the pull request back for the visual challenge. But we're going to add in a little hack here if we have time at the end that substitutes an entry in place of the date picker. But when you click it, the date picker will still pop up. The big one that really surprised me was editor has it built in. So this third one down here is not an entry, it's an editor. So I can type in all sorts of stuff here, and it just starts going to our next line. And building this as a custom renderer in the past, especially on iOS, was a nightmare to build. We probably spent 2 weeks trying to get it to work just right. And having this just work out of the box is I'm just blown away. I'm really excited about these features. All right, and now that we're all caught back up, we are working on the carousel view right now, which is part of the collection view. So again, this is part of this is going to be coming out in Xamarin Forms 4.0. It's a preview feature, and we're just playing around with the snap functionality here, which I really like. So I wanted to add in maybe a camera icon for the first ones. Maybe I wanted to upload my own custom images here. So what we could do is what I typically do is I just head right over to Material Icons whenever I want to add an icon. First link here, and I believe they have a camera icon. And I just download the icon. Yes, they do. Let's use this one. And what I really like about the Material Icon Library, if you haven't used it, is they have packages for Android and iOS. And since we got this gray and white background, I'm going to download the black one, and I'm going to download the pings here. And I've done this once or twice, so I got a lot in my downloads there. I can just go and grab whichever one I want and copy it over. Instead of, I just found Material Icons to really solve a lot of my problems with some of this stuff. So let's add those into for our Android project here. So let me just head over and get my live coding folder, our visual challenge, resources. All right. So we'll just copy over. I'm going to grab the biggest one because I want it to be nice and big in the middle of that frame there. So we're going to call this photo. And we'll add it in for the next one. This part ends up being a little tedious. One of the things that I'm not a big fan of is how tedious it is to add in all these custom assets. Last year I was working on a script to do all of this for me. I never ended up getting it completed. Hopefully I'll get some time in a project where it demands me to finish that extension I built for Visual Studio. And we'll do the DPI and photo. All right. Come back over here. We'll just add those assets into Android. And we'll say include in project. Now I can create our carousel view to have the first item just be a photo, and I can just click that, and hopefully we can get that to open the camera. Not really part of the visual challenge, but it's what I do when I build screens like this, so I thought it would be fun to include that. I should just be able to do photo, and that would be the first item in the collection would be photo, and it's just going to bind to the image, so that should work. And I can't believe how some of this stuff just worked the first time. Whenever I play with some of these new features, I'm always scratching my head, wondering, oh, how do I get this to work? Digging through docs for hours, and all this stuff really just worked on the first try. And I haven't looked at any of these docs in detail until today. I mean, I scanned them, I've looked at some of the demos that the nice people from Xamarin have been doing, but I haven't really looked at the docs in detail, and it's just, everything just worked. I really couldn't believe how easy some of this stuff was to use. And all right, we'll let that build. And so once we get that displaying, I'm gonna readjust some of those entry labels because I don't like where they are on the screen. We'll be jumping around a little bit here. We're almost done with this. I'm really happy with how this is all coming together. It's just easy. If I haven't mentioned it yet, I'm really excited for the Xamarin Visual and shell. So that's cool. We got our big image icon there, and everything else still works. I wonder if I can make this a little bit cooler, because this looks cool. Don't get me wrong, but before we do that, let's wire up some functionality first. I'm jumping ahead. All right, so I want to be able to say click on frame, not the image. We're going to do frame.gesture recognizer. We're going to say tap. Well, let me pass a parameter. We'll figure that out in a second. And I'm going to say carousel item tapped. There should be some type of parameter. And that's for commanding, and we're not commanding. We might, but I don't want to command for this demo. We're just going to add another event handler down here. Say private void carousel tab sender event args e. I'm going to drop a breakpoint here because I want to see what we're getting here. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to get our item here, because if we do, then I can just say, well, if it's photo, let's open up the camera. If it's not, well, do nothing. We're not really going to do anything with the camera, but it'd be nice just to open up the camera. David Ortano was very specific about, don't really worry about building any of the interactions to this, just build the UI. Alright, so that worked. So what is our object? I'm going to highlight over there. That's frame. So that's just our actual control, but our event arguments should give us something. Oh, that's not useful at all. I mean, I could just grab the image that way, but no. I don't like any of that. Alright, how do I want to do this? Tap gesture recognizer. I should be able to pass some type of parameter. Alright, let's do this the easy way. I wasn't planning to do it this way, but we're going to do it anyway. So we're going to create a little binding context, a little bit of MVVM here. We have a binding context. There's no binding context. We'll keep it simple for our demo here. And I'm going to say that we got, oh, because now I got to do all of that. Let's, before I do all that scaffolding, I want to take one more look here and see if there's a way I can pass the parameter. So there's automatic, binding context change, command, element, property change, routing shells, add. Wonder, maybe I can just search for it. We'll say Xamarin forms tapped parameter. How to pass parameter tapped event. That sounds exactly what I want. Roll to that. Oh, so it looks like I am going to have to do it that way. That's okay. We can work around that. We said back over here, it was going to be, that's frame, I can get the file, that's an image, or I can put it on the actual image itself. And we'll just create a view model. We'll do a little MVVM while we're at it. Get some commanding in place. We'll call this our view model. We'll have iCommand. We'll call this select item. Should have a new command, which is going to take a property of a string. Say on select item. Implement that. Say image name. And if image name equals photo, we'll open the camera. Maybe we'll do something. And I did want to do another thing here. If we're going to create the view model, let's have some fun with it. We're going to create an observable collection. And that's going to be a string, and we're going to say, call this images. Create a controller constructor here. We'll say images equal collection dot add, and we'll just add in our different images. Copy all of these. Up, too far. And right now, observable collections can't add, an array of stuff, but that's coming. Something a personal shout out to some stuff I'm working on with Microsoft and Xamarin to get add range, and we'll hopefully have that in the next version of .NET Standard. But we can't do that today, so we're just going to add these one at a time. And then I could bind a carousel view, and as this changes, we could actually render some of our items. And that one, do images.add. That looks good to me. Perfect. And instead of doing a new over here, I'm going to say new visual challenge. item source doesn't need to be set here. Comment that out. So I can just say item source is binding images. Right, because we created this down here. We have images. Cool. And let's see if that works first, and then we can do the next part, because the next part's... I had to go MVVM. That makes it a little bit more complicated. But, well, did I miss that? Eluse, did you start following me? I must have missed that on the screen. Thanks for the follow. Guess the notification wasn't loud enough on my computer. I couldn't hear it. It's too focused on what we're coding here. Alright, so it looks like, yep, our images are still loading correctly, so that's good. And perfect. So now we can set up our binding. So the challenge with binding inside of this data template is, because I can come in here and say binding, nope, say command binding, what did I call it? Select item, right? But that's not going to work. And we're going to force that to work in just a second. And then I'm going to do command parameter is going to be binding dot. So that's going to pass a string that is part of our collection. And then we can check. But the problem with that is selected. There's no selected item, and I spelled that wrong. I did spell that right. Select item. There is no select item on our binding because our binding in this context is just a string. So what I need to do, what I typically do in this scenario, is I just come up here and say X name, call it root, and that gives me binding. Here it's a binding context because we're going to be binding to the page, and I'll say source X. I believe it's your name. Let's try that. So the idea is you're going to set your type X name is not found. Maybe I can just do root. I don't think that's right. We'll try it. But the idea is in your binding statement you could select, an object on the page and bind to that binding context, which is kind of a nifty feature when you're trying to do a type of binding when you're inside of any type of list view, in case you're a carousel view, collection view. See back to the parent. Let's see if that works. If not, I might need to look it up because what I do when I can't figure stuff out is I just look it up. I set a breakpoint on that. So that didn't work. Maybe it's X. Oh, it's X reference. That's what it is. Got it. Now, if we run that, we just set a breakpoint over here, and that should work. That's right. I always forget these things. Perfect. And if we hit image name, it's going to say photo. All right. Now, I can say like device dot it's a camera. Let's look it up. So up here, forms open camera. So one's all anything. It should just be available. Access camera with Xamarin Visual. Might need to install something. Looks like we're gonna need to add in plugin to access the camera. Thought I was just able to do it with the API. Website. I'm sure Xamarin Essentials has it. You could try that. Alright, we'll come back to that one then. We have time, so let's put a note here. To do, open the camera and take a photo. Add it to the collection. So what I'm going to try doing is maybe I can just do an insert here. And now we're just going to hard code a monkey in. So if I hit the go button, when I hit the photo icon, it's going to simulate us taking a photo. Oh, you know what? We're going to stop it there. I don't want to just throw a message up there. Cancel. Nope, it's already started the debugger. Stop that. Just throw a message up there that says, hey, we're simulating the camera. Make that async. So, display. Have access to that in this context. Oh, I don't, because now we're in the view model, I'm not prepared behind. We'll deal with that later. I had to go fancy with this view model. Once it loads, we'll try hitting the little camera button and seeing if we get a another monkey added. So if I slide over here, we got the monkey with the blue shirt with the add button. Now we have the monkey without the blue shirt. Let's make this a little fancier, because I'm all about making things fancy right now. I should have a, maybe it's looking for like a selected item property here. Let's see what the docs say. So we were just looking at the, thought there was something where I could just say property. Maybe it's in here. Properties. Current item is what it looks like it is. Let's see. Start item source. Margin, new. I'm not seeing it there. Oh well. We don't necessarily need to update that. Thing works. If I came back over here, we can start adding in a lot of different. So the principle still works of this card view layout that I've built in the past. So I just click this a bunch of times. Yep, those are all the same until we get to the end. Alright, so let's update our carousel view slightly. I want to see if there is any docs on, at least in this blog here. Conversation. So snap point. Wonder if But I was trying to make it where the one you're looking at is kind of on the screen. Do that. So I was thinking of making our frame have a line come down here and here, kind of. And then we could have a little clip on either side for the other screens, but I'm not seeing that in the docs. I saw that on the GitHub project, but I'll just put a note in the code. Maybe I'll do it before I submit the pull request. To do first, both clips, other side, previous, and next item. Alright. So looking at this, I still have a little bit of styling that I want to do because I don't like how this is all laid out right now. So I'm just going to minimize our sections here so I can take a quick glance at them. So our vertical options are center and expand. So the bottom here, why is right now I'm concerned about all that space down there. Concerned about all this space right here. I want to pull the buttons. I'm going to pull these buttons up a little bit. And I want to take these controls and slide them down just a little bit. Let's go and fix that. Let's add a little bit more spacing between the buttons. We'll make this like 40. And it is center and maybe we need to make the vertical options transparent and start and expand instead of center and expand. Let's see what that does. So that looks better, but now our buttons are so far down. I don't like that. Why? Let's see what we can do to fix that. So our orientation, horizontal options. Maybe I need to make my vertical options start and expand. Maybe that'll put our buttons up slightly. No, that didn't do what I wanted at all. Why is there so much space there? I don't like the space. Well, we'll just simplify this and we'll just stick this right here. And that should solve that problem. And that's going to be just part of those buttons. Not buttons, but those entry controls. Still throws them all the way down there. I don't like that at all. Why is it doing that? Horizontal options. And we can't get rid of the scroll view because there's a bug in Shell right now where the margins will be set. It's not in the scroll view. Got our carousel view. Margin there. We'll make that start. I'll do like margin 0. Try that. Well, let's see what that does. Still that massive space right there. I don't get it. Just for testing, let's see if I, oops, if I move this, go right there, what happened? I would expect, I really expect there to be only a 40-point space in between, so there's got to be something going on with that stack layout that's causing all sorts of spacing problems. Or maybe it's the buttons. Because I'm still getting that space right there. Oh, I know what's going on. So I start typing in this. See how it stops right there? I bet you if I unminimize. Yep, there's the problem. Well, that's silly. Let's see what we can do to fix that. So I can get rid of that line. I wonder if I could do like a minimum height request of 200 to already allocate the space for that. So I can already, if I can just get the space pre-allocated and have it already be big like that, that wouldn't be terrible. I kind of let the screen already be big. Let's see what happens. Yeah, now it just doesn't work because now if I say hello world on line 1 here and hit enter, hello. And that's nice that we're still able to contain those items there, but I'd like it to expand out. I wonder if there's as text changes, we can auto size it. Let's try that. Because that would be really cool if, as I type in new lines, it automatically resizes stuff. Let's see what this does. Yes! That's exactly what I wanted. Now, our save and reset button are in a more appropriate spot. And I think I might add a little bit of margin below that, but that looks a lot better. We can just leave them here, that's fine. Maybe I just get rid of this margin entirely and that'll be enough. Now we can add some more margin in. Yeah, that looks better. So now if I come in here, hit enter a bunch of times, go down. Ooh, no. See, we got a problem there. Let's fix that. That's not anything to do. I think it's on the scroll. Maybe I need to add padding. So I don't want left padding. I don't really care about top padding or right padding, but 5 on the bottom. That'll just prevent our items from being that close to the bottom of the screen. Let's see if that does the trick for us. Alright, and it's deploying and it's done. Okay. So if I come into our description, hit enter a bunch of times, minimize, and scroll down. That's better. We got a little bit of white space down there. I want more. Let's make that like 20. I think 20 will do the trick for us. Alright. Okay, so come in here. We'll hit enter a bunch of times. Enter. Get rid of our keyboard. And I'll just scroll down. Yep, I like that. That looks sharp. Got the right amount of padding. Alright. I said if we had time at the end, I would show you guys my little date picker hack. Because I don't like that there's no placeholder on that. We can just double check the docs here. Date picker. We got formats, we got date, property, fonts, text color, date, effects, font size, format, any type of placeholder. So if my memory serves me right, I should be able to do entry. There was a. Let's see if it let me do entry dot. I do gesture recognition. Say tapped. We'll say tapped. Date. Clicked. Go to this name and we'll say, call it. Date, I don't know what to call it, date entry. And then we're going to call this date, except what I want to do with this one is I should be able to say is visible as false, but we're just gonna hide this completely. And let's go add our date clicked. Put it behind. So like we just re-leverage that one. And then do the date for date picker. Should be a property to focus it. Yes. So let's see if that works. And when you do the focus, that'll bring up the actual date picker control. We'll see if it works. Oh, Did not work the way I wanted to. Maybe I need to make it focused. This is true. Maybe that does the trick. And that's not doing it. Is it even firing that event? It doesn't look like it's firing that event, so why is that not firing that event? I thought you could do it. I know we have these different changed events. There is a focused event, and we could try that one. See what happens. That might actually be correct. And if we can't get this wrapped up in the next couple minutes, we'll just leave it the old way and put that down as one of my feedback items for the team. Is I can't put a placeholder easily on a date picker. I am not seeing that event being fired. Let's see an event that'll work. I've done this before. Do a quick Xamarin forms, entry, documents. Quick event for entry and state. Oh, we could wrap it. Yeah, I suppose that would work. Focused. Well, we just tried focused and that didn't work. And I could just set this, sure padding 0. That's kind of hacky, but it'll work, or should work at least. It'll probably make me a liar. The stack layer, gesture recognizer, tap gesture, we'll say tap, date clicked. See if that works. And if that doesn't work, we'll be moving on. Perfect. And I click this. Nothing. Well, I'm probably missing something silly. Oh well. We'll just rip this out. Doesn't matter for the purposes of the visual challenge. I was just getting down on the weeds and something I wanted to play with. So, since we're not using the earlier, we tried adding the hot reload. So I'm just gonna rip those NuGets out because I think we're pretty much good to submit a pull request. So we're just going to select all, uninstall. We'll figure out hot reload for next time, I think. Seems good. Yes, that's as developers, it's so easy to get, so focused on, I need to get this to be absolutely perfect. And at the end of the day, as long as it looks mostly alright, it's going to be fine. We can nitpick and perfect all day and just waste a lot of time. Not that we just wasted time trying to play with that, but we probably just spent 15 minutes trying to get that working. So, it's good enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back over to the initial visual challenge, see what a couple of other people are submitting for their pull requests. Notes in here. Okay, so they're just doing some pretty basic stuff with Wheeler. Let's see what this one did. Oh, that's cool. Using some collection view there. Tile display. Probably some flex layout. Yeah, that's a big one there. We're still building because since we removed those packages, we got to do a full build cycle, which is going to take a little bit of time. So we'll just let that run through and look at some of the other pull requests. Did we look at this one? That's kind of cool. That's similar to what we did. So we added some custom styling on top of it, which we didn't do. What I think we'll do is we'll just throw in, we'll make the background color of those material entries white so it just all looks the same for some background colors. See, oh no, we lost our date because I hit it. Let's make sure it's not hidden. And then we'll just update those controls and set the background color of white. That should be it. Perfect. Alright, so I should just be able to come in here and say background color white. Background color white. Background color white. Here. files, but oh, we didn't. That did not work for the date picker. Why did it not work for the date picker? Selected our background color. That's a problem. That's a bug, it looks like. Experimental code. Wonder if there's any other color options here. No? So that looks like that's a bug with the date picker not updating that background color, because the rest of these look like they work. That's pretty clean. Yeah. Alright. I like it. Let's commit my code. Say edit a card view image that uses serial entries and buttons. There's also a carousel view top of the page to display all images. Save that. Alright, cool. Well, that's all I was going to do for today's stream. I'm going to submit the pull request back to David's project later today, and you can download the code right from there. I'll drop that back in the chat in case you don't have it anymore. So go and do the challenge yourself. They're really looking for feedback from community members to play with this, and my pull request is going to have a link to this video for David so he can see how we kind of went through everything, and some notes on some of the controls that we noticed we ran into problems with. But overall, I'm really happy with how this all went, how this all worked, and a lot of this was just really easy to build. Even to get to, if I load it up again, the point that we were at about 45 minutes ago took me on a previous project 2 weeks to build. We're talking, 80 hours to get to something like this. With the carousel view, these controls, especially this control right here, being able to enter the multiple lines and having that work in iOS, and this is saving a lot of time, and I'm really happy with these features. It's really cool what they're doing. I'm excited about it. All right, well, I hope to see everyone in the chat room next time. Next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be doing another live coding session. Until then, you can always find me on Twitter or my blog and chat about anything you want in the software world. Oh, see you all next time. Bye.